Lukacek?
Present.
Councilwoman Martin?
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight we don't have any other floating matters, so moving on to item number 2 under the agenda, we have regular business. The correction and adoption of minutes for October 3rd, 2018. Councilwoman Lukacek.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I've had the opportunity to review the minutes, make no corrections, request that we approve the minutes for October 3rd, 2018.
I'll second that.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item number 2 under regular business, we have the consideration of all fund bills. Councilwoman Martin.
Thank you, Supervisor. I had a chance to overlook all of the fund bills up until and including October 17th, 2018, totaling $40,631.12. I make a motion to approve this, the fund bills for that time period.
I'll second.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3, we have correspondence. We have the income statement for September 30th, 2018. That's been received by all board members and filed. Item number 2 under correspondence, we have a request from Mr. Brian Burns to be placed on the agenda regarding the conduct of the highway superintendent. That has been received and filed, and Mr. Burns, we will, when we open up the floor, we will have the opportunity to speak tonight. We have a little bit of time before we have to move into our public hearing, so I'm going to move on to item number 4 under new business. Item number 2, skipping over the open floor for right now, we have resolution 2018-47, which is a matter regarding the additional optional form payment to the town's LoSAP program. Councilman Cardicchini.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Basically what 2018-47 is, it gives the firematics the option for a deceased member prior to the 60-year age requirement gives them an option of a 10-year guaranteed payment versus the lump sum. This just gives somebody in the unfortunate situation that passes on before they're eligible for the service requirement to take the payment. At this time, I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2018-47.
I'll second.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, so we'll move on to old business. Still a little bit of time before the public hearings this evening. Item number 3, resolution 2018-445, which is the Erie County Community Development Block Grant. Councilman Munger.
Yes, shortly we will be opening up the public hearing in regards to this matter. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of background before we did additional background so that you know what we'll be discussing. The projects to be considered for the funding for the Erie County Community Development Block Grant in the 2019-2020 cycle. First priority would be for ADA modifications to the North Boston Park restrooms. We'd be requesting $100,000 in CDBG funds to match using the $33,500 in town funds, using cash from the general fund to improve that area. The second priority would be rural transit services. That's the background for you. And we can't quite open it yet.
Just have to make a motion for the resolution.
We can't make a motion for the resolution until after we have the hearing.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. And then, I think number 4. Item number 4 under old business, resolution 2018-46, which is the Justice Court Assistance Program. Councilwoman Martin.
Thank you, Supervisor. We have a resolution 2018-46 for the Justice Court Assistance Program, whereas a grant may be used for a variety of purposes, including but not limited to the acquisition of computer equipment, office equipment, furniture. And what this application was for was the purpose of securing a cash box and new courtroom seating for this courtroom. I make a motion to approve this resolution, 2018-46.
I'll second that.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Trafficini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
So if that grant is awarded, that would provide new seating for the courtroom and also a cash box for our court offices.
Not that everybody doesn't thoroughly enjoy our current seating positions.
Yes, and they will no longer be zip tied together, they will actually have the proper metal bars connecting them. So we're kind of moving forward here. All right, we still have about 5 minutes before the public hearing, so I will open up the floor. We only have 5 minutes to open up the floor, but Mr. Burns, I will call you to the microphone first because you did ask to be placed on the agenda. So I will open up the floor for public comment.
I would ask that you ask somebody else if they'd like to first, and Mike will take more than 5 minutes.
Okay, well, we only have 3 minutes at the microphone for the open floor.
My name is Brian Burns, I live at 6556 Chestnut Lane. And I put on the agenda today to talk about the conduct of the Highway Department Superintendent Robert Telek. The first subject I'd like to talk about is Mr. Telek's first thought was a need to develop the end of Chestnut Lane and wanted to extend the road and develop it. His claim was that they needed a plow turnaround, which was not accurate. That later on decided that wouldn't have been a good idea to develop that road, as the only purpose I could see doing it was for him to develop his property that he bought in tax foreclosure. Robert Telek on the weekend with his own equipment and without authorization removed all the trees from that property, the town property, dragged them onto his property, and I did see a logging company taking the trees away. Whether they were the exact ones or not, I'm not positive, but he did remove all the trees from town property with no authorization. The biggest loss that Robert Telek has created for this town monetarily is that he has lost the town snow plowing contract for the county of Erie. His claim at one point during a board meeting was that it's a losing battle, that the town loses money plowing the roads they drive by every day. A lot of residents had roads plowed bad after the town lost the contract. Again, he blamed it on the county. I have emails supporting the county, requesting him to push back the banks on Ophelius Road and Lower Easton Road 3 times. His result was that he would not do it, refused to do it. Ultimately, that is the reason the town has lost the contract to the county. Now, the former board made a decision to cancel the contract and not further the contract, but the reason the whole subject began is his insubordination to do the job he was paid to do and elected to do, and will not do it because he's just that type of a person, where he doesn't care about the taxpayers, he has his own agenda, and that's all he cares about. That, I believe, has lost the taxpayers close to $500,000 at least in money that we have lost from snow plowing that they drive over every day anyways. I had to I had to go through a long legal battle because I brought up the subject of him not extending Chestnut Lane to further his development of his property. And that has cost me a lot of money that he has, again, used his position and taxpayer dollars and attorney fees, litigation, over his own little agenda over a property dispute that I won in adverse possession. The judge asked him, or ordered him, to remove the barricades that he placed there during this litigation. He refused to do it. The town had to make a resolution with more litigation. And then he went up and dug the blacktop up from a perfectly good road and put a ditch in the area that he was supposed to remove the barricades from. Again, causing more litigation. He continues to further his own personal agenda, using taxpayers' dollars in both personnel, resources, and equipment for his own agenda. He's had the employees come up and fill that ditch in twice with equipment and stone, twice sending them up there with inadequate stone that does not resolve the problem.
Mr. Burns, I apologize to interrupt you, but you just have a few seconds left. You're welcome.
And if anyone would like to watch a YouTube video, they can put Robert Telak in. It's my YouTube video that supports this accusation of him using resources, personnel, and equipment for his own personal gain. They also can contact me at any time with, I have documents to support anything I've ever said about him. I have documents to support it. It's not just hearsay like he says. And they can be reached at KarenRB@roadrunner.com. Feel free to send me an email. I'll be glad to help you.
Thank you. Okay, it's 7:45, so we're going to move on to our public hearing. Item number 1 under old business is the public hearing regarding the community development block grant. So I will make a motion to open up the floor for the public hearing.
Second. Could you please read the public hearing notice, please?
Okay, the public notice reads as follows. The public hearing will be held on October 17, 2018 at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Prevailing Time at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, regarding the use of federal community development funds in the town of Boston. The town of Boston is eligible for a federal community development grant under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. The purpose of the hearing is to provide an opportunity for citizens to express community development and housing needs and to discuss possible projects which would benefit low and moderate income persons in the town of Boston. Citizens are urged to attend this meeting and make known their views and or written proposals on the town of Boston's selection of potential projects to be submitted for possible funding by the Federal Community Development Program. The hearing will also present a review of prior community development projects and expenditures and a discussion of eligible activities. Motion to open the floor.
Second. Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Karakini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
No comment? I will make a motion to close the floor.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Karakini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Did we vote on that resolution now?
Yes.
Yes. So in regards to that, as discussed earlier, resolution number 2018-45, the Erie County Community Development Block Grant requests. As we earlier discussed, first priority being ADA modifications to the North Boston Park restrooms, second priority being a rural transit service. I would like to make a motion that we accept resolution number 2018-45.
I'll second.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Karakini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 2 under the old business is the public hearing regarding the 2019 preliminary budget. And that notice is read as follows. Notice is hereby given that the tentative budget for the town of Boston for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2019 has been completed and filed with the office of the town clerk, where it is available for inspection by any interested person during regular office hours. Further notice is hereby given that the Boston Town Board will hold a public hearing and review said preliminary budget at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Prevailing Time on October 17, 2018, and at such hearing, any person may be heard for or against the preliminary budget as compiled or any items contained therein pursuant to Section 103 of Town Law. The proposed salaries of the following elected officers are Supervisor, $63,708, Town Clerk, $46,350, 4 council members at $8,500, Superintendent of Highways at $67,602, and 2 town justices at $18,547. And the exemption report is available, and that notice was dated October 3rd, 2018. Before I open up the floor, I just put together a PowerPoint presentation to just cover some of the high-level topics. There was a copy of the budget that was out on the table. Of course, it was at the town clerk's office. Let me show you what we have. Thank you.
Next. And then
Get back up again. So, in the Town of Boston 2019 tentative budget, bookkeeper and I have worked together along with the accounting firm that's been brought on and paid for by the town taxpayer. With Drescher Malecki, they were brought on last year by myself, who sat as a councilman, and the previous administration.
Jason, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear him or would you like him to use the microphone?
Appreciate it. Sorry about that. All right, so I'll repeat that, my apologies. So I put this together working with the bookkeeper and Drescher Malecki, who the town of Boston had brought on last year as the bookkeeper while we were transitioning things over. If you have any questions, we can certainly discuss those at the public hearing. So the town of Boston, the allocation for the ad valorem tax levy, this is essentially how the tax dollars are broken out on the valuation of a home valued at $150,000. This is the most accurate way to do a comparison, a fair comparison from municipality to municipality or for how the tax dollar is spent. So you can see that the county is at approximately 20.5%, town you're looking at 5.9%, and for school you're coming out at 73.6%. And as you note at the bottom of the slide, that source is from the 2008 annual report from the Department of Real Property Tax Services here in Erie County. Allocation of the 2000 ad valorem bill, again, a breakout from the town and school taxes. Historically, for the past 8 years, there hasn't been a tax increase in the town of Boston. What tax increase there was very small. You can certainly pick that out if you look at the numbers in the budget, but for the most part, it's been a 0% tax increase overall. For the town of Boston, you're looking at 222.19. And again, that is based on a Boston home valued at $150,000. Just a different slide to give you an idea of where the overall, where your tax dollar is actually going as a tax-paying citizen. Allocation broken down even further. You got your 2018 ad valorem town tax at $222.19. So for your general governmental support, you're looking at $78.23. Public safety comes in at $2.96. Transportation, you can see, is at $100.22. And the economic assistance and opportunity comes in at $5.04. Cultural and recreation is broken up to $21.57. Home community services is $12.38, and your debt service is at $1.79. Here's how the town of Boston ranks in comparable towns. Just thought it'd be a different slide to show you how your tax levy is set up. Preliminary budget process starts traditionally mid to late summer. Obviously, the main concerns, it's always a topic of discussion, is number one, tax cap. The state has a 2% tax cap for municipalities, which of course can always be overridden, but it's suggested to remain under the 2% tax cap. While myself as the supervisor, chief financial officer of the board, we identify the service needs and desires based on the budget worksheets for all the different departments in the town. All the department heads submit those to myself, and then myself and the town board members review those and discuss how we're going to structure the budget going forward. Develop a plan while minimizing costs. Of course, that's the ultimate goal here. Maximize the revenue coming in from the taxpayer, and also utilize a responsible amount of savings. Comparisons 2018 to 2019. In 2018, your preliminary budget appropriations came in at $4,866,187. 2019 increases to $5,144,342. In 2019. The difference is $278,155. And then for the increase, a little bit more of an in-depth dive, if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the budget, $116,346 increases in property taxes is actually due to the growth in town. Another $96,248 is a $10 increase per household directly related to the solid waste pickup. That's something I had touched base on previous town board meetings. I'll be honest, it's nothing that I've hidden whatsoever, but the solid waste contracts will likely probably go up again next year. The town has historically always done a contract extension, which has always kept costs low, which is great for the taxpayer, but solid waste with the recycling costs literally going through the roof. This will be the last year that Waste Management will allow the town of Boston to do a contract extension. Waste Management being our hauler, we really are at a situation now where we have to go out to put it's called an RFP, request for proposal, so that now will take into an account as a whole solid waste and recycling. And again, the preliminary numbers, nothing set in stone, nobody has a crystal ball, but I do anticipate those numbers to that cost to all of us going up next year. And then the approximately additional $17 is for the $150,000 household per year. Primary causes for the increase is contractual employee benefits. Benefits are, medical benefits and all are always on the rise. You have state minimum wage increases. The refuse contract, that's what I was just referring to just a few moments ago. The length of service award program, or LOSAP, or PenFlex, depending on who you're talking to, we're all talking about the same things, kind of a potato scenario here. But the length of service award program, if you haven't heard, if you don't have a family member or loved one in any of our emergency services, the length of service award program here in the town of Boston right now is approximately $500,000 underfunded. It's been going on for a while. The budget that I compiled, that I presented to the board and to the town clerk, takes the $150,000 that has been funded at, increases it by $50,000 to try to make that account more viable. We just had a meeting this evening with our financial firm, and we're trying to strategize to bring that account whole. Again, if anybody knows anyone in the firematic scene, there's a lot more kind of going on behind the scenes here, but that is something that we need to bring whole, or else that will get to a situation where it does cost all of us actually more money in the long run. The additional positions that are proposed in the tentative budget is a full-time deputy town clerk. Full-time supervisor position is something that I had brought up last year at budget time, and I'm still stating that this year. And then also for a full-time bookkeeper position, in getting away from the contracted professional service from Drescher Malecki. But just so everybody's aware, again, for transparency, Drescher Malecki will be kept on next year. I don't have a length of time. It's going to be on a contract basis, so it'll be based off of projects. There's quite a few things that we're working on for the town. There's There's some high-level things I can touch base on. We've got state retirement was one. I think that is just about on the cusp of being done. But then we have time and attendance projects and other policies that actually have to be drafted and written, and we'll be seeking Gresham Lucky's assistance on those. Other additional insurance increases are insurance cost increases. That was, I spoke briefly about medical. The reason I put the insurance increases on there again, I don't know if anybody was aware, but this year for the town of Boston, the insurance that covers the town board due to historical legal matters, the cost just about doubled this year. When I tried to negotiate that contract this year, the cost just about doubled, and our deductible more than doubled. So should there be any additional litigation, should the town of Boston, again, your tax-paying residents, you pay my salary, being completely transparent with you, should there be a lawsuit that the town of Boston loses, the deductible is quite high. And that is because of the historical legal matters that the town has been in. The other top bullet that I also briefly touched on earlier in the year is the mandatory firefighter insurance. What this is, if you haven't heard about it, New York State, due to 9/11, they're mandating all fire departments obtain cancer insurance. There's not a dollar amount associated with that, with this insurance yet. It's new. I don't have that information. I've reached out to the Association of Towns. There's a lot of things that's in the works right now. Due to the fact that we don't know what numbers there are, one of my commitments to the paramedic and the emergency services personnel is that I proposed a 1% increase. Again, not knowing that cost, keeping that 1% increase, hopefully that will help offset some of that cost to the paramedic scene, because we as a town board levy that tax for the paramedic folks, and then what ends up happening, of course, as their costs go up, they're going to naturally come back to the town board asking for the money. So without having the proper numbers and trying to do the best that we can with the information that we have, that's why I added that on there, because that will be a cost for the foreseeable future. And again, it's a state mandated insurance that the fire departments need to have for their interior firefighters. Two-phase budgeting process. Touch base a little bit earlier on this. Phase 1, August through September is your tentative and preliminary budget. Revenues and expenditures are associated with various departments. Phase 2, you go into September, November. That's your final adopted budget phase, which is exactly what we're in right now. That's where you look to find additional revenues, reduce expenditures, and something that I have discussed for the past couple of years, if anybody has heard me speak to this, is a 3-year look forward. It's something that I picked up on in my Certified Town Official program. And budget forecasting is really where this New York State Comptroller wants us, and it's a nice way to collectively compile a budget, and where, as long as the historical data is decent and sound going forward, most of the budget will automatically kind of come together by mid to late summer. It actually assists the town board, it assists myself, it assists our bookkeeper. And then, last but not least, the year-end figures and projections. We still have additional monies coming into the town. There's nothing to say that we don't have a bad snowstorm or that we have additional fuel. Salt this year is certainly on a tick upward for additional costs. The highway superintendent, he does a great job at budgeting those costs, and he got decent pricing on that this year. But again, there's a lot of a cost between this conversation that we're having right here tonight and the end of the year. Government Finance Officers Association, anybody that's familiar with local government would likely use the acronym GFOA. I tossed this in there. I think it does a really nice job establishing some of the unrestricted fund balance in the general fund. It talks to how there's certain volatility. A budget is no different than your household budget. We can all sit down and try to anticipate our expenses for our gas, our groceries, and other expenses, but it's just that it's kind of a guess. We don't have the crystal ball. We don't know that you might not be driving down a county road and hit a pothole and take out your tires, and you got to go buy a new set of tires that wasn't in your budget for $700. So, but this is the GFOA. Some of the information, and then continuing on, I think some of these expenses, depending on what they are, they could pose a potential drain on the general fund. from other sources for other different fund lines, and as well as the availability of the resources in the other funds. And of course, the second bullet touches, and rightfully so, I bolded the text, that the potential impact on the entity's bond ratings and the corresponding increased cost of borrowing the funds can be impacted based off of obviously budget line items and where we stand, being fiscally stable. And then on the third bullet, commitments and assignments, governments may wish to maintain higher levels of unrestricted fund balance to compensate for any portion of unrestricted fund balance already committed or assigned by the government for a specific purpose. Governments may deem it appropriate to exclude from consideration resources that have been committed or assigned to some other purpose and focus on unassigned fund balance rather than unrestricted fund balance. Use of savings, going back to my methodology of forecast budgeting, looking at minimum 3 years forward. I personally like to try to carry that out to a 5-year window. I think a 5-year window would do a nice job at collectively assessing upcoming expenses such as highway trucks or roof repairs, new buildings, capital projects, things of that nature. Because then now you have a 3 to 5 year window to start accumulating those funds or identifying where those funds are going to be coming from, grants, tax levy, etc. 2019 to 2021, just what I was saying, forecasted expenses, here's what we're taking into account on the horizon. Solid waste contract increase, unfortunately, we don't know what that number is. We'll know that number when we put out the request for proposal early next year. Highway vehicles, we have one new vehicle that's on order. We do need another vehicle, and we do have other vehicles in the fleet that are aging, and some of which that and in the next 3 bullets, these are all plans that have not been updated in quite some time. There's what's called a master plan. There's a comprehensive plan, both of which haven't been updated in quite some time. Sometimes you can secure grants. Hopefully we can secure grants so it doesn't come at a cost to the taxpayer. We're just essentially bringing that money back to us. The comprehensive plan and master plan do tie into an insurance component for the community. Because when you're out requesting bids for insurances, they will ask if you have these 2 documents. Ours is actually old enough that it was actually typed. So for what that's worth, that is what we have. That's what I have to work with. And the exact statement from all 3 of the companies that I've reached out to thus far, they state that we don't have one. Drainage improvement plan. It's something, I hate to say I campaign on things. This is not how I am, but it is something that I put on my write-up that the press had published. They reached out to me this year when I ran for supervisor. It's called the Drainage Improvement Plan. Some of you may or may not have heard regarding it, this topic of a drainage improvement plan. But I got to tell you, when I was out knocking on doors for a councilman position and also as a town supervisor, I got to tell you, almost every other house, drainage. That's over and over again. Drainage improvement plan. This is something I identified when I was down in New York City with the Association of Towns training this year. I won't mention the firm's name at this time, but there's a firm that has a drainage improvement plan. It is a proof of concept. It is used in another municipality not that far from us.